It's Greyknights versus Daemons. Very excited about this one because it's Greyknights versus Daemons. How often does that happen? Not very often. It's not like Greyknights versus Tau or something like that. This is a classic combination, like biscuits and tea or onions and farting. It's a classic combination. So this one is going to be a banger. Very excited for it. Don't forget to like the video for the holy algorithm machine god. And yes, this is my face. I'm sorry. And the Greyknights will be fighting the Daemons on this ruined battlefield in and amongst this ruined sanctuary here. Look at it. It goes all the way up. This place was holy once, but it's been befouled by demonic energies, and all this scenery, this massive modular stuff you can see, plus the bunkers, plus the statues. They're all from marchofwar.co.uk. Thank you, James. And this is the 1980 points worth of Greyknights that I'm taking. Not very many data cards here. Greyknights, when they advance, they just move 6, so they're very quick. Plus, on top of that, at the end of my opponent's turn, I can pick up a chunk of units and then deep strike them back in again in my turn. And there's a strat, so I can deep strike just over 3 inches instead of 9. Can't charge when you do that. There's also a strat which allows me to pick them up when my opponent gets within range of them during their turn. And I've given the librarian over here the sigil of exit. Basically, if him and his unit get shot at, then once per battle, I can pick them up, deep strike them in again. So high mobility, high maneuverability. There's 3 units of Terminators. Only one's got an Arthesian and a banner, because that's what I have modelled. And leading them will be the librarian, Grandmaster Voldus, and Drago. Got to bring Drago out. We're fighting Daemons. Voldus makes you -1 to hit him and his unit, but Drago is an absolute tank. Got a unit of Purgation dudes to stay at the back with side cannons. These can fire around corners indirectly. 4 units of strike teams there. And 2 Nemesis Dreadknights who have definitely got Nemesis greatswords, magical greatswords, which are so magical they're invisible while they're strapped to their back, which they can use in close combat, because you need the greatswords. So magical invisible greatswords. So lots of speed and mobility, lots of Stormbolters and lots of chop, led by 3 heroes of the Imperium. Finally I get to fight against Daemons. I'm just excited for Greyknights versus Daemons. Edit, just found a thing. I'm at 1980 points, so I've got 20 points left over. 5 points more for a Grandmaster, and they reroll hits and wounds and damage against monsters and vehicles. So these 2 guys with their invisible magical swords of doom, they're Grandmasters. And we welcome to the channel Dustin. Say hi, Dustin.
Hi, Dustin.
So Daemons, why Daemons?
They are highly underrated. I don't think people play them enough. They've got massive toughness, massive damage, a lot of movement. The Shadow of Chaos, deep striking at 6. Can't argue with it.
Scary. Oh, one thing you told me actually is you're new to the hobby. Tell people how long you've been in the hobby.
Yeah, I've only been playing literally 11 months.
11 months?
Yes.
You're a brand new baby to 10th edition and everything.
Baby 10th edition.
How is your journey going? Has it been fun? Has it been ups, downs, winnings? What's it been like?
It's been a lot of fun. I've played with a few different armies. In terms of winnings, losings, I think I've lost 4 games with the Daemons or something like that, 5 games.
Just 4 or 5?
Yeah.
I'm a bit nervous right now. Let's take a look at these Daemons. And this is 1990 points worth of Daemons. Tell people what Daemons do. I haven't gone against Daemons yet. I don't know what they do.
Daemons, they're very simple. They have a Shadow of Chaos. My deployment's always my Shadow of Chaos.
Yes.
If I control more than half the objective in no man's land, that's my Shadow of Chaos. And if I control your objective, your deployment's my Shadow of Chaos.
Okay, and that's at the start of any phase.
That's at the start of the command phase.
Command phase, not any phase. So you can't move on to the middle objectives.
Can't move on to it.
And then in the fight phase, suddenly the middle objectives are your...
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Okay.
It's at the start of my command phase. If I control the objectives,
right,
I get my Shadow of Chaos. And in that Shadow of Chaos,
yes,
if I take a battle shock test, I'm +1 to my test. If I pass, I get D3 mortal wounds back or D3 destroyed models.
Right.
And if you take a battle shock test in my Shadow of Chaos, you are -1 to that test. And if you fail, you take D3 mortal wounds.
Right. So you could put D3 of these guys back in,
Yep.
but everyone else has got multiple wounds, so they'd be rehealing D3 wounds if they're in your Shadow of Chaos in your command phase.
Yes.
Do you take Battle Shock? Oh, now it's the Battle Shock test in your command phase. I see. And then the greater demons at the back here, they've got an aura which is Shadow of Chaos.
They have a 6-inch aura. Be'lakor has a 6-inch aura for anybody.
Yes.
Both Scarbrand and Bloodthirster have a 6-inch aura for Khorne models only.
So they're always in their command phase. They're always healing themselves.
They're always able to heal.
And maybe healing people around them.
And they have that ability to do that, yes.
Then there's a deep strike thing with Shadow of Chaos as well that you were telling me about. What's that?
If I deep strike within my Shadow of Chaos, I can deep strike at 6 inches, not 9.
And can you still charge?
I'm still allowed to charge.
So 1 minute. So Scarbrand could move up in your movement phase. And then at the reinforcement step of your movement phase, one of these could deep strike 6 inches.
Next to him, 6 inches away from you.
And then it's a 6-inch charge.
Actually becomes a 5-inch
What?
charge.
Why is it a 5-inch charge?
These guys are +1 to their charge.
Right.
These guys are +1 to their charge.
Right.
And those guys are +1 to their charge.
Okay.
Because of the banners that they have.
I'm not scared. So let's okay.
So we have Skulltaker,
yes,
who has been lovely painted by my daughter.
Oh.
He is leading the Blood Letters.
Yes.
He will give them devastating on their melee weapons.
Okay.
He can reroll his hit roll and wound roll if he's going against a character unit.
Yes.
And if I destroy that character unit, I get a CP.
Are these your only battle line units as well?
They are my only battle line unit.
Okay. And then over here, there's the Blood Crushers.
We have Skullmaster leading 6 Blood Crushers. These guys are amazing. He gives their bladed horns devastating wounds.
Right.
And he also, when I end a charge move, a unit that's within engagement range must take a battle shock test.
Yes.
And the Blood Crushers themselves, once they end a charge move, I select a unit that's within engagement range, and I roll 1d6 for every model within my unit.
Yes.
And on a 4-up, you suffer D3 mortal wounds.
1 minute. So there's 7 models here.
Yes.
And a 50-50 chance that those 7 models do not 1 mortal wound, but D3 wounds.
Yes.
At the end of the charge phase.
Potentially 21 mortal wounds.
And then you hit stuff with devastating wounds.
Yes.
So these guys just blend?
They just pick up things. They go in.
What's the biggest thing they've killed?
They've taken out a Land Raider turn 1 before.
Easy?
Overkill.
Overkill on a Land Raider.
I did 19 wounds to a 16 wound Land Raider.
So why don't people just bring 3 units of these all the time?
It's 330 points
right.
for each squad being led.
Okay. Okay.
They do bits.
Right, and then these guys, they still do mortal wounds on
these
the charge,
guys
but they're not being led.
Mortals.
Okay. And then in the backfield, we've got some massive demons. Talk about the massive demons.
So we have Be'lakor
yes.
leading the way. He's the warlord for today. He has stealth, which is always handy. And he also has a shadow form ability. The main one I use is Wreathed in Shadows.
Right.
Which is any Legionist Daemonica unit within 6 inches of the model cannot be targeted if you're out of 18 inches.
Okay. So him and anything within 6 inches can't be shot at more than 8 inches away.
Exactly.
Nasty.
Which is always handy.
And he's -1 to hit when you shoot him.
-1 to hit anyway because he has stealth.
Is he -1 to hit if I punch him?
No.
Nice.
The minute you get into combat, he's fair game.
But he's only got like 3 wounds or something, right?
Yeah. He's toughness 10, 18 wounds.
Toughness 10, 18 wounds. How tough is this fella? How many wounds has he got?
Scarbrand
is
a little bit better. He's toughness 11, but he's got 20 wounds.
20 wounds.
His ability is the fact that any Khorne unit within 6 inches gets +1 to their attack characteristics on their melee weapons.
Right.
And if you're within 6 inches and choose to fall back, you have to take a leadership test. And if you fail, you have to remain stationary. Right,
that's big beastie number 2. Big beastie number 3.
Bloodthirster is the guy. Anybody within 6 inches of him, Khorne model, is +1 to their hit roll.
Okay.
He's toughness 11, 18 wounds.
Right.
And at the end of the fight phase, you select 1 enemy unit with an engagement and roll 8d6.
Yes.
For each 4+, you suffer a mortal wound.
There's a lot of mortal wounds output in your army.
There's a lot of mortal wounds.
That's at the end of the fight phase. Does anything survive the fight phase with him?
big squads
might survive the 5
survive
days.
because he hits hard against big things and he can hit hard against units, but it all depends on the saves.
Okay.
He's got 14 attacks at strength 10, which is actually going to become 16 attacks, strength 12, because he's got the enhancement Agarth, the King of Blades.
Right.
Which is add 1 to the attacks and strength characteristics of your bearer's melee weapons, but when you're in your Shadow of Chaos, you add 2.
16 attacks.
16,
so strength 12.
16
is that
attacks.
Sweep mode, strike mode,
That
or
is
is that
sweep.
Sweep mode?
Strike mode would be 9 attacks at strength 18.
Brilliant. Nothing is going to survive the combat from him when he goes flying in there to do the mortal wounds at the end of it.
Yes.
He's just going to go through stuff. And he's going to go through stuff. And Scarbrand's going to go... Who's the guy at the end?
So this is my Soul Grinder.
Right.
I run him as a Nurgle allegiance, hence the green.
Yes.
With his Nurgle allegiance, he's toughness 11, 14 wounds, has a 4-up. He can make normal and advanced moves across friendly monsters, vehicles, and terrain less than 4 inches, as if they were not there.
Okay.
So he just walks around everywhere. And he has the Film Bombardment being Nurgle, which is a nice D6 plus 1. It has Blast, Indirect, and Lethal.
Right.
Strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage.
So he actually has a shooting attack.
He's got 2 shooting attacks and 2 melee attacks.
But apart from that, not a lot of shooting in this army.
Not a lot of shooting.
Blood, who's this one?
So Bloodthirster.
He's got a big whip. He can shoot something.
He does have the big whip. He has the Blood Flail, I believe.
So
which is just 1 attack.
Okay. So very little shooting. 4 massive chonky Demons of Doom. Worth pointing out that almost everything in your army has a 4-up invulnerable save. The Bloodthirsters have a 5-up invulnerable save. Yes? Bloodletters. I got it nearly there.
Nearly.
Bloodletters are 5-up invulnerable save. It's been such a long time since I faced demons. 4-up invulnerable everywhere. Lots of punching. Lots of abilities to deep strike in and move around and things.
Yes.
I'm absolutely terrified. Let's go on to deployment. I'm not terrified. With the Knights of Titan, we slay demons. It's going to be fine. 1 minute, there's a thing. Your Shadow of Chaos thing, right?
Yes.
It kicks in at the start of any phase.
Yes.
But that will only really affect stratagems, things like that, because all the command phase rolls happen in the command phase anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
So at the start of any phase, if I control at least half the objective markers within No Man's Land till the end of that phase,
yes,
No Man's Land is considered my Shadow of Chaos.
Okay.
Won't make a difference for movement and point scoring, but it will work for strats.
Yes. And here we are after deployment. Everything of mine is down on the table and the deployment looks like that. We're doing a Crucible of Battle with Fog of War, which means everyone gets cover in turn 1 and you can't use strats in turn 1. I quite like Fog of War because after turn 1, you don't need to remember it anymore. So Crucible of Battle with Linchpin. The way Linchpin works is all the objectives are worth 3 points. And if you hold your home objective, then all the other ones that aren't your home objective become 5 points. So you need to hold on to your home objective to make the other ones more expensive and things. And yeah, I've got everything down. Drago's at the back. Terminators with a Librarian. Terminators with an Arthesium and the banner with Voldus. And I've put everything back here because there's not a lot of shooting coming out of the demonic army, with units up at the front ready to shunt forward and try and take down some of these objectives. And you've got the Blood Crushers. Are they Blood Crushers?
They are Blood Crushers.
Blood Crushers round this side, which I'm absolutely terrified about. A massive Demon over here, which I'm absolutely terrified about. Scarbrand over here, which I'm... Be'lakor, sorry, which I'm absolutely terrified about. And some more demons round here. Did you put anything in reserve?
I have Scarbrand, 3 Blood Crushers, and a squad of Blood Letters in Deep Strike.
Scarbrand, 3 Blood Crushers, and some Blood Letters. Right, okay. And then the axe on this thing. We spoke about the axe on this thing, because if he has an axe, he doesn't have the whip, but if he had the other axe, he does have the whip.
Yes, so if he has his great axe,
yes,
he doesn't have a whip. If he has a normal axe, he has the whip.
Has he got the great axe or the normal axe?
I was going to run him with the great axe today.
Great axe, okay.
He's just holding on to the whip.
He's just got the whip is there for show. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 5 units down.
Yes.
Just 5 units down. 3 units in reserve that can be deep striking in turn 2 or something.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? What's better for demons?
Going second.
Going second is better for demons. Why is going second better for demons?
Because at the end of your turn, for a CP, I can pick up 2 of my units and they deploy back down in my next reinforcement stage, which means deep strike turn 1.
Okay, brilliant. And then I like going second as well, because at the end of your turn, I can pick up 3 units and deploy them in my turn. So we both actually want to go second?
Yeah, neither of us want to go first.
Well, let's see what Zinch says. You like a bit of Zinch, don't you? After you. That's a 2. It looks like you might be going second. Particularly when I rolled a 3, it's Greyknights turn 1. The Greyknights want to sabotage an objective and assassinate one of those big demons. Assassinating one of those big demons is going to be a bit tricky in turn 1. In the Greyknights movement phase, they fan out to the right and the left. This strike squad and the other strike squad in the centre of the ruin, shunting all the way forward. There's demons right in front of me. And whether I'll be able to control those 2 primary objectives in my command phase, unlikely, because of demons right in front of me. But I've got to keep the demons honest. I've got to push forward. Voldus is sabotaging this objective round here. Everyone else staying still for now, ready to teleport away later. And the only thing that really moved, the only thing really in range, is this Dread Knight over here, which wants to kill that demon. So I'm firing at the Demon Prince. He's got less wounds, but he's got stealth.
He's got stealth and he's got a 6-inch aura of stealth. So.
Okay, so let's kill him. He's got less number of wounds, or try and kill him anyway. Here's the heavy side cannon. It's going to hit on 4s because of the stealthy things. And that's only 2 hits. Strength 10, what's his toughness?
11.
Brilliant. 1 wound, I do a wound.
1 4-up.
Yes. Okay.
And 3 damage.
Yes.
He has the Endless Gift. And
Right.
He's within my Shadow of Chaos. So has a 4-up, feel no pain.
Okay.
He takes 2 wounds.
Right, here's the side cannon. These are 4s, but camera angle, 6s are sustained. Then it's strength 6. I need 5s to wound. I do 2 wounds. 2 2-up saves?
2 2-up saves.
Yeah.
Demon Prince has a 2-up.
Yeah. And you make them both, and that's the end of my shooting attack, and that's the end of my turn, and yeah, let's go on to demons, turn 1. And the demons just want to kill stuff for no prisoners, and if they kill in range of objectives for overwhelming force, it's even more victory points. So at the end of my turn, you spent a CP on a thing, which allowed you to pick up this guy and this guy.
Yep.
Because if they'd have just walked forward, then their charge would have been incredibly long.
Yes.
And then you could deep strike them back in at the end of your reinforcement step. And now we have a soul grinder, soul crusher.
Soul grinder.
Just 9 inches away from that Dread Knight, and a Demon Prince just 9 inches away from this dead Dread Knight. Because you picked them up, it means you couldn't heal them with the battle shock thing.
Couldn't heal him.
But you weren't taking a battle shock test anyway, because he wasn't below half.
Needs to lose some more wounds.
But all of a sudden, there's a couple of demons in my lines. Around this side, you advanced with, what's he called?
Bloodthirster.
The Bloodthirster. You advanced with the Bloodthirster. There were a strike team here, and I spent a CP on Mists of Demos and got them out of there. I think that's a 10 or 11 inch charge there as well. Yes. So we're going to be relying on some long bomb charges. And I know you advanced and charge, but you've also got a strap that allows you to advance and charge as well.
That is correct.
And then the Blood Crushers are currently patrolling the backfield, just in case any of mine deep strikes in. Then Be'lakor is simply guarding the linchpin objective. He's got 18-inch range shots as well. And he's in range to target the strike squad. Because you want no prisoners, you want overwhelming force. You want to kill, kill, kill. Start off with Be'lakor there with his Betraying Shades. 12 attacks. They hit on 2s. They're strength 6 and they're devastating. So 3s to wound. There's no devastation. And that's a really bad dice roll. But it is AP minus 3.
AP minus 3.
So I need a bunch of 5s. And that's a pretty good dice roll. You only killed 1.5. Still got 4 in that strike team in the middle. Be'lakor passed his hazardous check. And then he's got a Flaming Breath of Doom or something?
Yes, it's incidental fire,
okay.
But we'll see.
D6 for drop dice, don't count. Okay. Brilliant, that's the first one. 3, Flaming Breath, strength 5. So 5's to wound. There's 2 wounds. AP?
AP 1.
So I need 3 up saves. I'm making both. Coming from the Bloodthirster across to the other side of the battle grid, where we have a Soul Grinder. And the Soul Grinder is splitting his Phlegm Bombardment down into the middle. D6 plus 1 for the number of shots, for only 3. It's on 3s. They're lethal. There's a lethal. And that one is strength 7, so that one wounds on a 3. And that is 2 wounds. AP?
AP 1.
So I need 3s. And one guy dies. Harvester Cannon as well?
Yeah.
3s to hit with a Harvester Cannon.
3s.
And 2 of them hit. It's strength?
10.
Brilliant. 2s to wound. 1 wound. AP.
-1, 3 damage.
-1, 3 damage. -1 is sucks. The 3 damage is good. I need a 3. I make the 3. There's still 3 left in that strike squad. I'm not sure you've got any more guns left. Has this Demon Prince round here got some shots? Yes, he has. An Infernal Cannon. 3 shots hitting on 2s. Out of his wrist. And they all hit. Wound on 3s. 1 of them wounds. -1, I'll put it on one of the guys in cover, and we're good. So in the shooting phase, you just take out 2 Greyknights.
That is
but
it.
now we're going to go on to the charge phase. So where do you want to start the charge? It's 9 inches for Soul Grinder into Dreadknight here, and 9 inches for a Demon, which can either go into the Dreadknight, double team that Dreadknight, or come into this strike squad in the backfield. Flog of War, there's no rerolls to this. So 9-inch charge for the Soul Grinder. Does he get in? That's a 12. He definitely gets in. Demon Prince needs a 9 into the strike squad as well. And that's a 5. That's a failed charge. Then round here, the Bloodthirster needs an 11-inch charge. I think you used your 12 already around the other side of the battle grid. So there's 1 successful charge. So this big demon raises his Warp Sword. He hits on 3s though. And he misses twice. Strength 8 versus toughness 8. Wounds on 4s. At least he wounds. I've got a 4-up invulnerable save. Hold. I make my 4-up invulnerable save. And I strike back unless you've got any more attacks. Is there extra attacks?
Claw.
An Iron Claw. Okay.
5 attacks.
Right.
On 3s.
You missed 2 of them as well. Strength.
16.
Okay, this wounds on 3s. No 2s, so it's strength 16. And there's Snake Eyes. 1 wound comes through. And I rolled a 2 for my save. How much damage is that?
D6 plus 2 damage.
Okay, at least you did some damage. Not very many though. Only 3. So I'm going to smack you back with my Nemesis Grandmaster. I have to say, you've got Greyknights as well. And you pointed out that it is the Nemesis Grandmasters that do the reroll the hits, the wounds and things. So I changed my list because of you.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So this could sting. I'm hitting on 2s. He's a Grandmaster, and I can re-roll that apparently. And it is strength 10. What is the toughness of that big chunky thing?
11.
Okay, so I need 5s to wound. And I can re-roll that. That's 2 so far. Let's get a full house. It's not a full house, that's only 2 wounds. 4 up invulnerable saves?
Yes.
Okay, you'll be fine. You make them both. You're absolutely fine. That fight continues, and that is the end of Demons turn 1. And they didn't get no prisoners, and they haven't killed something in range of an objective.
No.
And I've actually managed to sabotage this objective here for 3 points. So it'll be 3 points to 1 at the end of turn 1. And I've got my linchpin objective. And I've got this objective over here, which I don't need to take a battle shock test because I've still got 3 guys on. So let's add up some points. Go on to Greyknights turn 2. I'm going to be picking up some stuff as well and deep striking in to the Demons backfield. So I've got 11 points and I picked up all 3 units of my Terminators. I discarded that Assassination card last turn and I wish I'd have kept it. But 11 points is good, and I've got Containment. I need to get within 9 inches of board edges that are not within my deployment zone. I also need to storm a hostile objective. In the Greyknights movement phase, a lot happened. Sorry about that, Dustin, but a lot happened.
Yes, it did.
Because I had 4 units to deep strike back in. The 3 I picked up, plus the 1 that I picked up because of Mists of Deimos. And I need to contain some things and storm a hostile objective. So the first thing I did was spend the CP so I could deep strike just over 3 inches away. Put this unit down here, so we can't charge, we can't do anything. And they are storming that hostile objective. I'm OCing that massive demon off of that one. They're also containing this edge. They're only within 9 inches of that board edge. So that's storm, that's contain. And round here with Drago, we're doing contain part 2. And as you pointed out, which I didn't know, containment completes immediately. So you do it in the shooting phase, then it's immediately completed, and then I can charge. So we'll go charging into that blood crusher there. No. Soul grinder. It's a soul grinder, and that's Drago's unit, and he has plus 3 inches to a charge. And if I manage to make that charge, the demons won't be on any objectives. Not only will I pick up lots of points for the secondaries, but I'll push the demons off all the objectives. And then the librarian deep struck in here as well, and that unit are going to go charging into the demon prince. The idea is, hopefully there's enough to kill one thing. Maybe Drago can kill 2 things. Maybe. Because I need to kill some of these big, chunky demons of doom. Down in the middle, however, this is the thing that I ummed and ahed about. The unit that were there moved forward, and Voldus deep struck in there with the Narthesium with his banner, double teaming the central objective. He's -1 to hit all the time. He might be fine. Maybe. So Greyknight shenanigans have allowed me to spread out all over the place, complete a couple of these secondaries, and put boots all the way across the battle grid. But the demons are spending a CP, and they're going to rapid ingress behind the Greyknight lines. And all of a sudden, Scarbrand is right behind my lines. He's definitely going to be a problem. So let's go on to the shooting phase. Those 2 units that are containing can't shoot. We're going to put lots and lots of shots into this demon prince over here that we want to charge. Starting off with this team here. Okay, here's a bajillion Stormbolt shots. -1 to hit with stealth. I'm wounding on 6s. I do 2 wounds. 2 2-up saves. And you're good. Okay, let's go on to unit number 2. There's also the librarian in there. Let's do his Vortex of Doom. I don't want to roll a 1. That's not a 1. Vortex of Doom. 2d3 mortal wounds for 3 mortal wounds. You ever feel no pain against that, right?
Feel no pain 5.
5 up. Okay. And you feel a bit of pain. I've barred all the Stormbolters in at 6s to wound with a 2-up save, no wounds caused. But here's the side cannon. This hits twice. It's going to need 5s to wound. Oh, it doesn't wound. Okay, that's fine. And then I've got 4 side cannons from the Purgation Squad, which are firing at him as well. And they hit on 4s. And wound on 5s. Oh, that's good. 3 3-up saves. You failed 2 of them. Fulfill no pains. And you make 3 of them. That's good. He's down to 5 wounds remaining. I've got this big thing. Am I going to charge you with Drago? And then, do I shoot the guns at the Soul Grinder? Or do I shoot the guns out of combat into Demon? I mean, these guys charging a Demon with 5 wounds remaining. I think I shoot the Demon. Let's shoot the Demon. Hitting on 4s with the Burt gun. But wounding on 5s with a 2-up save. And 1 damage each. That's only 1 damage each. Yeah.
Yeah.
The side cannon that I'm going to hit you with is a 3 damage gun. So, and he drops 1 more wound. Let's do the heavy side cannon. Yeah, this is deadlier because it's 4s to hit. So that's 3 hits. Strength 10. Your toughness 11, right?
Yeah.
He's a nurgly one. I do 2 wounds and then -2, 3 damage a time. So if you want to CP reroll one of them, now's the time.
2 4-ups.
No, you're just going for it. That's 3 damage in total. Feel no pains. He feels all the pain. He's down to 1 wound remaining. That should be perfectly softened up for the charge from that strike squad, right? Right? I think so. Which means he can't shoot. Drago and his team can't shoot because we're doing containment actions. Over here, the Dread Knight. Do I even bother starting on that demon? I suppose I should. It is a demon. So on this side of the battle grid, I shot all the guns I possibly could into the Bloodthirster and got it down to 12 wounds remaining. That included shots from Voldus's unit in the centre of the battle grid. There was some incidental firepower that went back there into Be'lakor, but no damage caused. And that's the end of my shooting phase. Tickled this demon. Oh, I put a wound on Scarbrand back here before he comes charging through and ruins my day. And a couple of wounds on the demons around this side, but now we want to charge. So I immediately finished that containment objective over there. Drago wants to charge this demon in the back. It's a 6-inch charge. He has +3 to his charge. And that's definitely a CP reroll. I need a 6. And that's a 10. Well done, Drago. Strike team into this demon on 1 wound. That's an 8. And I think that's it. But you don't have the CP to interrupt. So the librarian's unit might as well go in as well. That'll be a 9-inch charge to kill this demon. And that's a 6. That's a failed charge. Alright, so let's try and kill this demon. You're spending a thing on a thing.
He has an ability, Unholy Vigour.
Right.
Once per battle at the start of any phase, this model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, it has a 3-up invulnerable save. Okay, so we've got 3-up invuln instead of a 4-up invuln. Yeah.
Okay, now's the time. He's on 1 wound remaining. He's going to get hit by the Knights of Titan on 3s. It's 5s to wound. It's just 1 wound on this demon. Surely I can kill it. Only 2 wounds come through. 1 minute, I've got a CP. I've got a CP that, haven't I? I've got 1 CP over there. I do, because I chucked a card last turn. Ooh. No, it doesn't help me. So 2 3-up invulnerable saves. And you make 1 fail 1. That's 2 damage. You've got a CP.
And I'm going to spend it.
You're going to spend it, right, yeah. And you fail. That's... Okay, so 2 5-up, feel no pains. You need both of these to go off to keep your demon prince alive. And he falls. We slay our first demon. And you roll a 6 for your deadly demise. So you do D3 mortal wounds to the unit. At least he takes 1 out. He doesn't take 1 out. He just nicks 1 on the way down. It's sent screaming back into the warp. So from 1 combat over here to the combat with the Soul Grinder. We're starting off the Supreme Grandmaster, Caldor Drago. Of course we are. He hits on 2s. That becomes lethal. Terminator's on the charge. And I roll 2 1s. And he's anti-demon 2+ with the Titan Sword. So these wound on 2s. And that's 3 wounds. 4 wounds. -4.
Yeah. 4 invulns.
Okay. And you fail 3 of them. That's 9 damage. Soul Grinder's down to 5 wounds remaining. Here's the rest of the attacks. 1 is lethal. These need 5s to wound. 6 invulnerable saves. You need to pass 3 of these. Or 4 or something? Oh, it's 2 damage a time. I definitely wipe out that Soul Grinder. That is 8 damage. And that is the end of Greyknights turn 2, and that is significant. Not only have I taken out 2 of these big nasty demons, but I've pushed the demons all the way back. So the only objective they control is their linchpin objective. I've also picked up points for containment and storming hostile objectives, but there is still trouble ahead for the Greyknights, because demons can redeploy for a CP, and I've got Scarbrand in my backfield, and there's some blood letters and some blood crushers that have yet to deep strike on the battle grid. This demonic incursion is a long way from over as we go into demons turn 2. So it's 21-3 for the Greyknights, but as I said, this battle is a very, very long way from over, and Dustin didn't have the CP to spend to pick 2 units up. And he's also got no prisoners and overwhelming force still in his hand. Wants to kill plenty of things. And there's plenty of things now spread out in front of the demonic lines. Here we are after the demonic movement phase, and this could be painful. I could lose a lot of heroes of Titan right now. But the Blood Crusher's holding on to the home field objective while Be'lakor pushes straight up the table. There's his 3-man strike team in front of him, and then beyond that is Voldus. And don't underestimate Be'lakor's ability to kill both of these units and make it look easy, potentially, hopefully. Around this side, this is the Blood Crusher? No, Bloodthirster. He jumped forward, got in range of my Dread Knight, and I'd rather not lose my Dread Knight to a charge from a Bloodthirster. So I spent a CP on Mr. Demos, picked that one up. That's gone back into Deep Strike. And because he counts as the shadowy, warpy thing, the other unit of Blood Crushers could Deep Strike in here. within 6 inches of him. And we've got a charge into my purgation squad. And a charge into the strike squad, which was holding on to the backfield by Scarbrand as well. If everything works to plan, that's 2 units dead, 3 units dead here, 5 units dead potentially, and my linchpin objective gone, and I'll be down to just 1 objective over there. So I'm bracing myself for a painful turn. I'm going to start off with Be'lakor, firing at the strike squad right in front of him, hopefully clearing them away and clearing up a nice charge route through to Voldus behind. He hits on 2s into the strikes team. Nice. Here's Betraying Shades, wounds on 3s.
6s are devastating.
Okay, there's a couple of devastating. I need 5 up saves on the other ones. And it is 1 damage a time, yes. So you wipe out 2 in total. 1 strike member stood in the middle there. We did a flamey attack down here into this strike team, no damage caused, and we're on to Scarbrand. He's got 2d6 flamey attacks into the strike team in the backfield. Number of auto hits is 3.
Wow.
What dice rolling today?
It's terrible.
Yeah. Strength 6?
Strength 5.
Strength 5. 3s to wound. 2 of them wound. AP?
0. 1 damage.
2 up saves. I take a wound. Have you got any more shooting?
That is everything.
It's everything.
Charges.
It's all about the punch. Be'lakor wants to charge both of these units. Needs a 5 to tank both of them. And that's a 10. He's angry. So Be'lakor made it there. The Bloodthirster got a nice long charge and charged back around this way, basically to where he was, puts him back on the objective. Scarbrand couldn't fail the charge. Straight up the gut into that strike team. But these Blood Crushers, it would be a 6-inch charge, but there's a banner, so a 5-inch charge into my Purgation squad. And they make the charge as well. Successful charges across the line. Don't have the CP to interrupt. These Blood Crushers do mortal wound impacts on the charge. Got 3 dice because there's 3 models. Looking for 4s. That's 2 4s. So that is 2d3 mortal wounds onto the Purgation team. And that is 3 mortal wounds. Killing 1, injuring 1. Now we fight. Striking out with their Hell Blades. Keeping range of Scarbrand there for those extra attacks. Yes. And they're hitting on what now?
Hit on 3s.
Okay. That's pretty good punching. Winning on 3s. Still good punching. And that's -2 damage. There's 1 left. And you've got extra attacks from the mounts. So hit on 4s.
Hit on 4s.
Yes. But they have Lance. With Lance, they're winning on 2s. We've only got 1 Marine to get through. -1, 1 damage. Does the Emperor protect? No. No, he doesn't. So that's your first no prisoners, no overwhelming force stuff. Now we're on to Scarbrand. You just said a lot of scary numbers.
Yes, I'm going to go with the strike attack.
Right.
So 8 attacks.
Yes.
Hitting on 2s.
Yes.
Strength 16.
Strength 16.
-4 AP and a flat 6 damage.
Flat 6 damage with 8 attacks. So potentially he could do math. 78 attacks or something. He could do a lot of wounds.
Yeah, he does a lot.
Yeah. Okay. 2s to hit. There's 1. Strength 16. 2s to wound. Brilliant. And -4, you say?
Yes.
6 damage, you say?
Yes.
I don't think they're long for this world. No, they're wiped out. That's 2 units wiped out. And now we're on to a Bloodthirster. This is going to be hilarious as well. You're going gentle with me. You're going for the 9 attacks instead of the bajillion attacks.
Just the 9 attacks.
Just the 9 attacks. Okay, so 2s to hit with just the 9 attacks. Okay. But it's strength 18 with the enhancement.
Yeah.
It's stronger than Scarbrand. So 2s. They all wound. -4. Okay, how much damage are they?
D6 plus 2.
D6 plus 2. Not a flat 6 then.
No.
I need 6s. Somehow there's a guy left alive.
Not yet.
Because D6... Nope, not yet. There's more attacks.
No, there's
mortal
more wounds.
There's mortal... Oh, yeah. At the end of the fight phase, if anyone lives, you roll 8 dice, and on 4s it does mortal wounds. And that will kill the last guy. But that happens at the end of the fight phase.
Yes.
So you kill them all, but I do get to fight back. I hit you once, because at the end of the... I don't wound, right? You wipe out your 3rd unit. And that's the 3rd unit wiped out, and now we're on to Be'lakor, fighting Voldus and this last remaining strike dude, that guy. At least Voldus' unit is -1 to hit. Strike mode or sweep mode?
Strike mode.
Strike mode. Okay, the big overhand swing. How many into the little guy left standing there?
Just 2.
Just 2. Okay, so you're hitting him on 2s, right?
And 2s with lethals.
Okay, they both hit. Strength of
14.
Scarbrand. Okay, 2s to wound. And that's Snake Eyes? He dodges right, he dodges left. That strike team member is a hero. You've got 4 more attacks into Voldus.
CP, I need him dead.
You're going to spend a CP on killing a strike team guy.
It's the last one.
Don't roll a 1 into a 1, it'd be very depressing. It's not, right, AP.
-4.
So you're saying there's a chance. On a 6, you don't kill him. That's not a 6, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 more attacks into Voldus' unit.
Yes.
So this is going to be 3s because Voldus' unit.
Voldus' unit.
And 2 of them misses.
That is lethal.
That's lethal, okay. And then that one will wound on a 2. They both wound. I need invulnerable saves. I fail 1 invulnerable save. How much damage does Scarbrand do?
D6 +1 off him.
Okay. And that doesn't even kill a Terminator. Puts 1 down of 1 wound remaining. And then I can fight back. So Voldus steps forward and the first thing he's going to do is light his hammer of flame. Normally an axe, it inflames on a 4 up, but you add 2 to this because you're a demon. So basically I don't want to roll a 1. I roll a 4. Adding 2 to that, because on a 6+, it would have been a lot more mortals, but no, that's just a yes. So this is D3 mortal wounds. For 2 mortal wounds on Scarbrand. Now we fight. So Voldus will try to hit you with a hammer on 2s. They all hit. He's strength 10. How tough is Scarbrand?
Bellacor's 10.
Bellacore, sorry. Bellacore's 10. So I actually wound him on 4s.
Yes.
Wow. I only wounded him once. It's -2, 3 damage.
4 up.
4 up and Vun. You make the Invun. Now let's do all the Terminators. The Terminators hit on 3s and wound on 5s. 4 more invulnerable saves. And you only take 2 more damage. I only took a 4 off of him. And that puts Bellacore down to 14 wounds remaining as that fight continues. But what a comeback by the Demons there. They managed to max out both of their secondaries, getting maximum points for no prisoners and maximum points for killing stuff in range of objectives. And they wiped out 1, 2, 3, 4 whole units, maybe even more than that, which leaves my footprint. Well, basically, this is my footprint, apart from a Dread Knight, which is already in Deep Strike Reserve. So I've got to go and pick. I'm only going to pick up 3 on the primaries because I'm on that one. You've stolen my linchpin objective off me. I could try and come back to get it, but Scarbrand things. So I need to go away and have a think now as we go on to Greyknights turn 3. I actually had 2 primary objectives for 6 points because Voldus is still holding on to the central one, which means the score is currently 27-13 in favour of the Greyknights. Picked up a couple of units. Now it's my turn to kill stuff for no prisoners and bring it down, kill big stuff. After picking up a couple of units and deep striking in one more time, here we are at the end of the Greyknights movement phase, and the Demons are on many objectives, so I need to try to get them off of these objectives. So I've deep struck in the strike squad. They were here a moment ago. Mr. Demos, they flickered through reality and reappeared back here next to the Blood Crusher. Not Blood Crusher, Bloodthirster. It starts with blood, it's big and it's red. And that stops you getting 5 points because you have your linchpin objective there. So they're dead next turn, but it secures some points. And I also want to stop you scoring my home field objective here as well. To do that, I need to kill one of these and make a charge. And I've spent the only CP I have, so there's no re-rolling charges. So I'm going to be shooting them, charging in. I'll definitely not fail that charge, right? And then that Dread Knight has got to face Scarbrand. So long as I don't fail any of my 4-up invulnerable saves, I'll be fine. As for bring it down and no prisoners, there's a lot of things around here. Drago stayed on the table to score me some points, and he's marched forward to here. That'd be an 11-inch charge into Bellacore. But essentially, I wanted to bring some guns to bear. Here's the Librarian with some guns to bear. And here is the Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster with some guns to bear, firing into a monster in close combat. The guys who are in close combat with him can't shoot him. They don't have pistols. But that's a lot of guns. Maybe I can kill him in the shooting phase and then hang in there while Bellacore fights back. and punch the last couple of wounds off of him. That's the plan anyway. We'll start over there though, with lots of Stormbolters going into the Bloodthirster. Right, then a couple of things happened. One, I thought I'd roll Stormbolters off camera because 6 is to wound. I took 5 wounds off the Bloodthirster. 5 wounds. I should have deep struck in over there, maybe, to try and charge him. But that's nice. It's down to 7 remaining. Then Dustin was kind enough to point out Bellacor's Wreathed in Shadow ability, which I completely forgot. First time fighting demons. Need to be within 18 inches of him to shoot him. So shove the Dread Knight forward a little bit. Thank you so much.
It's all right.
And now let's keep pouring it on. But before we get to Be'lakor, we'll come over here to this Dread Knight, which wants to shoot these Blood Crushers. How many wounds do they have each?
4.
4. Ouch. So I counted does 3 damage as well. Here's the Psy Cannon. This will wound on 3s. 4 up and vulnerable saves. 1's injured. So 1's on 1 wound. The Burr gun goes Burr. But these are wound on 5s because you are on toughness 7.
Yeah.
No AP, 1 damage. 4 up saves. And I take 1 down. Makes the charge a little bit longer. Really need to make that charge. Did I mention I've got no CP left?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that could be fruity. We'll get back to that. Coming back over here to now doing all the shots and things into Be'lakor.
I'm going to spend a CP.
On Demonic Invulnerability. Rerolling saving throws of 1. Here is a Cannon of the Psych variety. Forced to hit you. And what's his toughness? It's 10, right?
10, yeah.
So this actually wounds on 4s. I wound once. 4 up save, rerolling once. There's a 2. That's 3 damage. Now the gun that goes Burr. Wounds on 5s. There's 1 more wound. 1 more 4 up and bun. Takes another wound. You're not rolling any 4s, you're not rolling any 1s.
No.
This is the downside of big massive demons. They're big and scary, but it's the 4 up and vulnerable saves everywhere, right?
Yes.
So actually the little guns can tickle. Talking about little guns, let's go on to Drago's unit. Stormbolter from Drago hits on 2s. Stormbolters from the rest summon... 3s, sorry, yeah, because of Be'lakor things and you're in combat. These hit on 4s, some in rapid fire, some in not. And then 6s to wound. 2 more tickly wounds there from the Stormbolters. There's 1s you can reroll. And it helped you, look. That actually helped.
It worked.
Worth spending the CP. There's a Psy Cannon in that squad, which hits once, needs a 5, doesn't wound. That's Drago's unit. We're coming across to the Librarian's unit, and they hit on 4s and wound on 6s. Just 1 more wound. That's a 1, which you convert to a 2, so that's a bit of a tickle. He's down to 10. Here's the Psy Cannon. This needs 5s. Doesn't do anything. Still on 10 wounds remaining. I expected a lot more. I hope for a lot more.
Sorry.
But I've got Vortex of Doom from the Librarian. And that works. And this is 2d3 mortal wounds onto Be'lakor for a glorious 4 mortal wounds. He's down to 6 wounds remaining. That's the end of my shooting phase. Drago wants to try and make this charge. This is an 11-inch charge. It's +3 if he teleports in. He definitely didn't teleport in. Can I make an 11-inch charge? I make a 12. Go, Captain Drago. He's Supreme Graham. Are you okay over there? You're right.
I cannot believe you've just done that.
That was lovely, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, after Drago made that glorious charge, this is actually the kicker one around here. It's a 7-inch charge to stop you taking my backfield objective with no CP. Did I mention I don't have any CP?
You did.
That's a 5. That's a failed charge. Oh, no. Okay. So you are going to get points for that one and that one. But hopefully we can now kill Be'lakor. Drago raises the Titan Sword. He hits on 2s. That's lethal and it's anti-demon 2+. What a G. And I roll 2 1s. 4 up invulnerable saves. And that is 9 damage. Be'lakor falls. Deadly demise? And he doesn't even go angry on the way down. I banish you, demon. I banish you. And that is the only fight this turn. And that is bring it down. And that is no prisoners for those sweet, sweet VPs. You still have your linchpin objective. And you still control this objective round here, which will get you 8 points on the primaries. But you've got 2 giant demons remaining. You've got these blood crushers in my deployment zone and blood crushers in your deployment zone. And there's some bloodthirsters that have yet to deep strike onto the battle grid as we go on to demons. Turn 3. 33 to the Greyknights, 21 for the demonic forces, and they want to establish a locus either in the middle or in my deployment zone, and they're all over my deployment zone. That should be 4 points. Engage on all fronts is something they can also do, as these bloodletters are going to be deep striking in. And the demons encircle the Greyknights on all sides of the battle grid. When the blood crushers move round here, my librarian's unit disappeared back into the warp again. If you make a 6-inch charge into my Dreadknight, they'll be in that table quarter. The bloodletters are in this table quarter. The bloodthirsters in that table quarter, and Scarbrand's back here, meaning you'll get maximum points for engage on all fronts, and the only objective that I'll be stood on is the one in the middle, while the other unit of blood crushers establish a locus over here. So going for maximum points on the secondaries again, trying to push me off of all the primaries again. And there's a 6-inch charge here, a 6-inch charge here, 666, the number of the beast, and you deep struck here, which is in your shadow warpy locus thing.
Yes.
And it's a 6-inch charge up the gut into Drago, which sounds like a horrible idea, but you said there's a guy here that's got precision hits.
Yes.
Who's the dude with precision hits?
The leader, the guy at the front,
Okay.
with the skull cape.
So he could snipe out Drago in one thing.
He could go in, devastating.
And if you pull this off, last turn was brutal. You wiped out 4 or 5 units. If you pull this off, I've got the librarian's unit up on the battle barge one more time, or floating around in the warp one more time. And then Voldus back there. And everything else should be dead. So
Should be.
At the end of turn 3, it could be an absolute slaughter by the demons. The Knights of Titan need to hang in there as we go into the shooting phase one more time. There was some flamey goodness from the Bloodthirster and some flamey goodness from Scarbrand, which was lots of flame but didn't do any wounds. Now we're straight onto the charge phase. The Bloodthirster made the charge into the strike squad, couldn't fail. Scarbrand needs to make this 6-inch charge into my Dread Knight. And that's an 8. He gets in there. The blood crushers round the other side. You did advance them, but you're spending a CP so you can advance and charge. It's called Warp Surge. Can advance and charge. They need a 6 as well. And that's a 7. They get in there. Then finally, 6-inch charge from the bloodletters. Is it a perfect draw? It's a perfect draw. And at the end of that charge, after piling in, the bloodletters get here with the Skull Taker challenging Drago. I don't have any CP to interrupt, so we might as well start here, see how this fight goes. Skull Taker hits on 2s. It's all precision, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
precision and devastating.
Okay, so you drop one of them. Targeting the character, reroll hits, reroll all wounds. So everything hits Drago. What is the strength of this attack? Drago's toughness 28.
Strength 6.
Okay,
so
3s to wounds. He's toughness 5.
searching for 6s.
6s are devastating, right? There's devastating. How much damage is that devastating wound?
3, but I can reroll all the wound rolls against the character.
You can if you want to. Drago's got 7 wounds.
I'm going to go hunting.
Okay, yeah, roll up. Yeah, try and take down Kaldor Drago. No more 6s.
Never mind.
But I don't have any CP. What's the AP?
-2, 3 damage.
Okay, so I need to make 2 of these. 2 of these and Drago's alive. 2 4-up saves. And Drago falls. In fact, that takes out Drago 3 damage. That'll take out 1 of the Terminators as well. Now all the Bloodthirsters taking on 4 Terminators. They hit on 3s. 4s to wound, rerolling those 3 1s. That's a bad roll. That makes it better.
6s are devastating.
So they're devastating, they kill a Terminator. These are -2, 2 damage. And that's another dead Terminator and 1 down to 1 wound. 2 Terminators are left standing. Now we're going to come back round here to the Blood Crushers that engaged the Dread Knight. At the end of the charge phase, the 5 that are in engagement range after piling in get to do their thing. So 5 dice, looking for 4s for impact hits. That's 2 there. So that's 2d3 mortal wounds on that Dreadknight. Takes 3 wounds. He isn't injured yet, this guy. I think he's down to 10 now. Right, next on to the Skull Master. What does he hit on?
Hits on 2s.
Brilliant. Okay, so they all hit. And he's strength 6.
Yeah.
Versus toughness 8.
5 to wound.
Yes. That is 3 wounds.
3.
-2, 3 damage. Okay, take 3 more wounds. Now the trusty steed.
Yes, on 4s.
Okay, that's 3 hits.
And strength 6, but with lance.
So wounds on 4s instead of 5s because of lance.
6 are devastating.
Okay. No devastating, but a wound comes through. And the mount is -1 damage, and I'm okay. Now there's only 4 blood crushers that can fight. So here's the Hellblades coming in.
On 3s.
And then 5s to wound. And that's 1 more. And these are -2, 2 damage, but I make my invulnerable save. Now all the bladed horns, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 4s. I don't think you rolled any devastating wounds.
No.
For all of that.
No, I did
and
not.
These are -2, 1 damage.
-1 damage.
You take a couple more wounds off. The Dreadnought is still Dreadknight is still alive on 5 wounds remaining. So let's move down the line where a second Dreadknight is being attacked by Scarbrand. Surely he'll make this look easy. Because he hits on 2s. And he wounds on 2s. Flat 6 damage.
Flat 6.
Loads of 4 up and vulnerable saves coming here. That is 12 damage. That's a lot of, yeah, okay. Deadly Demise. He blows up. He does D3 mortal wounds back to Scarbrand. Gives him a little tickle. Yeah, Scarbrand made it look easy. And talking about making things look easy, we have a Bloodthirster fighting 5 strike teams. You're going with a big overhand swing.
Yeah, same
One
again.
more time, 2s to hit. Strength bajillion. It's going to be 2s to wound with 6 up saves and each doing d6 plus 1 damage. He's brutal. Yeah, that's a lot of wounds. 6s, many 6s. They're all dead. And at the end of that glorious combat, I've got 3 units remaining on the battle grid. Should be 2 to be honest, but 3 units remaining on the battle grid, plus the Librarian in Deep Strike Reserve. And we can fight back with these Terminators against these Bloodletters. And I'm hitting them on 3s and wounding them on 3s. 5+ invulnerable saves. And I only take down 1 for Vengeance for Drago. That wasn't much of a vengeance. Then I come back to the Dreadknight, Nemesis Dreadknight, Grandmaster, and he can reroll hits and wounds against monsters and vehicles, but that's not a monster or vehicle unit. They're mounted. And they're 4 wounds each, so I basically have to do the overhand swing, which hits on 2s, and at strength 10, their toughness 7 is 3s to wound. At least I wound 3 times. 4 up and vulnerable saves. And you make only one d6 damage, 4 wounds to get through, and I kill one. And with Drago gone and demons infesting this once hallowed shrine in the middle of the table, the demons score engage on all fronts in every single table quarter. They're also establishing a locus over here. And I'm only going to pick up 3 points for this objective. So the demons are catching up. And the Greyknights are running out of assets as we go into the Imperium's turn 4. Right, I actually picked up another 3 VP for the Dreadknight. I got 6 at the start of that turn because he passed his Battleshock test. Makes it 39 to 29. There's only 10 points in it. The demons are clawing their way back into this battle. And I need to establish a locus as well. And area denial, clear those bloodletters from the centre. So in my turn, the Librarian's deep struck in here, taking the linchpin objective off of the demons and establishing a locus. And his Vortex of Doom isn't a shooting attack. So it can shoot in and destroy the bloodletters. Want to kill every single one for area denial. And I passed all my Battleshock tests. So the unit that were engaged has fallen back. So they aren't shooting. But Voldis's unit has piled forward. So they will shoot. and go charging in. And with the Vortex of Doom, that should be enough to clear away all those bloodletters in the centre. Should be overkill, to be honest. And the other thing I ummed and ahed about is I had to pull my Dread Knight out of combat here because he was only on 5 wounds remaining, and these guys do 2 damage. The Golden Boy, he does 3 damage. Yeah. And if you would have killed him in my turn, then you could have pushed forward, consolidated onto the objective, and got even more points. He's going to die anyway, either in my turn or your turn. So this way, he just stepped back and is trying to deny points, doing his Gandalf, best Gandalf impression. You shall not pass. So now we're going to come down to the centre, do the Vortex of Doom from my Librarian into the bloodletters. Don't roll a 1. Drop dice don't count. That's a 2. That's fine. Right, 2d3 mortal wounds into the bloodletters. That's nice. That's 5 of them dead. After firing absolutely everything in, Skulltaker's left on 2 wounds remaining, and then Voldus and his boys charge 7 inches. And then Voldus and his boys ran through that Skulltaker. And that's the end of my turn 4. I'm definitely denying the centre. And I've taken the linchpin objective. Mm-hmm. So instead of this objective over here being worth 5 points, it's worth 3. And this one over here is also worth 3. But now Scarbrand is on the loose. The Bloodletter is on the loose. I don't think that Nemesis Dreadnought on 5 wounds remaining is long for this world. And the Bloodletter is... well, he's definitely going to make one of these combats in the middle of the battle grid. Surely. As we go to Demons. Turn 4. So the Greyknights are on 48. The Demons on 35. And they want area denial as well. Take the centre. And also secure no man's land. In the demonic movement phase, Scarbrand advanced round this way to jump on my Nemesis Dreadknight, who disappeared back into the Vale. Did that for a couple of reasons. One, you wanted to spend the CP, I imagine, on advance and charge and try and kill him.
Yes.
I didn't want him dead. And now you're not on this objective. And to secure no man's land, well, that's one of the objectives. This is one of the objectives. This is another one of the objectives that the Demons want to string out on. As well as kill all the Greyknights in the centre of the battle grid for area denial. Now, there's some shenanigans you can pull off in fight phases to string back to objectives and things. But it's going to be a long shot to perhaps maximise all of these secondaries. What isn't going to be a long shot is killing 2 Terminators just stood there with this horde of Blood Crushers. And of course the Bloodthirster is flying in there as well. We've seen what the Bloodthirster does. Bloodthirster does Bloodthirster things. But maybe Voldus with his -1 to hit natural aura might keep those Terminators alive as the Demons encircle and close in for the kill. Oh, one more thing, talking about securing no man's land. Demons can corrupt real space for a CP make objective sticky. So this objective that the Bloodthirster jumped off of has remained under demonic control. It was a very quick shooting phase. A flaming attack from a Bloodthirster killed a Terminator. And now we're charging. Where do you want to start the charge?
Bloodthirster into
both units. Okay. See how far you get. That's a 12. You can put him where he wants. See, we can both make 12-inch charges.
Yeah.
You didn't need it, but that was a 12-inch charge. Blood Crushers?
Blood Crushers.
Yes.
Similar sort of thing. When I push them into both units.
Both units, okay.
That's what I can do.
Here we go. That's a 5. And at the end of the charge phase, we've got 3 impact hits coming through to Voldus' unit. And 3 impact hits coming through to Lone Terminator remaining. Let's roll for that Lone Terminator. See if we can get any 4s. And there's 2 4s, which will be 2d3 mortal wounds. And you run him into the ground before you get a chance to swing your thing. And then 3 into Voldus' unit as well. And you didn't roll any 4s. And now we're starting with the Blood Crushers. I've only got 1 CP, I can't pay to interrupt. They're fighting Voldus. Now, Voldus is -1 to hit, but Bloodthirster gives +1 to hit to any unit within 6 inches of each other. So this cancels out. This could be painful. Is the Skullmaster. He hits on 2s, right?
Yeah.
The guy on the Golden Chariot of Doom. He hits every single time.
Strength 6.
Wounds on 3s. 6s are devastating. Just 3 wounds?
-2, 3 damage.
They are 3 damage. And you kill a Terminator. Now the Juggernaut's bladed horns. Back to 4s. And that hits twice. And strength.
Strength 6.
3s to wound, but with lance. 2s to wound.
2s
yes.
to wound. This is where 6s are
Yes.
devastating.
And that's a wound.
-1 damage.
Here's the rest of the squad. They're hitting on 3s with all their blades. And winning on 4s. 6s are devastating, right? Still no devastating. So these are all 4-up saves.
Yep,
-2 damage a time. That kills 1 because he was injured. That kills another. That drops 1 down to 1 wound. Juggernaut bladed horns. Hitting on 4s? 4s. Yeah, that was really cocked. Then winning on 2s with lance. These are the ones that are the devastating ones. These are the devastating ones. Okay. And there's a couple of devastatings. It's 1 damage a time. So 1 was injured. That killed 1. And then these are all -1?
-1 damage.
3-up saves. There's another one dead. And Voldus takes a wound. So Voldus stands injured and bleeding at the feet of this bloodthirster. And you're doing the 16 attack profile this time round?
We're going to go sweep, yeah.
Yeah,
16
why?
attacks.
Why not the big overhand?
Because at this point, the -4 versus -2 makes no difference.
Okay.
May as well give you a load of saves to try and make.
Okay. Yeah, glorious. 2s to hit. Voldus' thing definitely doesn't kick in. Still strength 12 with a sweep attack. Unbelievable.
2s to wound.
-2 damage. It's 13 saves to make. No one can be this lucky, right? Not today. And that's the end of Demons turn 4, and they've slaughtered every single unit on the battle grid, except for my Librarians unit back here. And they've got the maximum points for area denial and maximum points for secure no man's land. And I'm only going to pick up 3 points for being on this objective here, but I do have a second unit, an injured Dread Knight, loitering away in the warp as we go on to the Greyknights' last turn. So it's 51 to 45. I'm 6 points in the lead, but remember, Demons score at the very end of the game on the primaries. So it's very, very close. And I need to secure no man's land and cleanse objectives that are not in my deployment zone. So the Greyknights are digging in and holding on. We're trying to cleanse this site of its demonic taint. We're cleansing this objective. We're cleansing this objective with the Dread Knight. And we're securing no man's land over here with a Dread Knight for 2 VP. Which means we're not shooting. We're not charging. But I do have a Vortex of Doom from the Librarian over here, who's in range of the Bloodthirster. I was just chatting to you off camera a while ago that I've never rolled a 6 on the Vortex of Doom.
This could be...
And you told me about a glorious thing where you rolled 2 6s in one battle and one shot a thing.
I did.
Yeah.
One shot with a Maleceptor.
One shot at a Maleceptor. Maybe I can kill your Bloodthirster. This would be glorious. I get +2 to this dice roll, so if I roll a 4, it'll be the big one. And it's not the big one. It's 2d3 mortal wounds. And that's 5 mortal wounds off the Bloodthirster, putting him down to 2 remaining as we go into Demons turn 5. 57 points to the Greyknights. 45 points for the Demons. They need to get behind enemy lines and contain a board edge. Then after the Demons movement phase, you're on 1, 2, 3 objectives, scoring primaries at the end of the game. It puts you 3 points behind. With 1 unit back here behind enemy lines, it's a draw. Now the Bloodthirster wants to make a charge. He's been chasing this Dread Knight all game. Don't roll low. You should be fine.
Should be fine.
He makes the charge. Kill the Dread Knight. No longer be a draw. You take this objective. 9 dice hitting on 2s. Okay. And his strength 18.
Strength 18.
Wounds on 2s. 4+ and vulnerable saves. Let's command point one of them. Doesn't help me. How much damage is it?
D6 +2.
Okay, so all of these is a total of... Math? That was 28 damage. I think he's dead. He doesn't deadly demise. He just gets ripped apart. That puts you 3 points in the lead. But also within range of this edge for containment. And range of this edge for containment with Scarbrand. Which means the Demons win by 9 points, and all the Grey Knights have left is the Librarian and these guys over here. But we cleansed this objective at the end of your turn.
You did.
Which is clearly a victory for the Grey Knights, even though we lost by 9 points. We've cleansed a bit here. We're going to disappear from the Tower of Doom and leave the demons to control this wasteland, and this is the way the world ends. Dustin, thanks for coming down.
Thanks
You
for
were
having me.
behind, and at the end, you win it by 9 points. What's your first thoughts?
To be honest with you, I didn't think I had this.
It was a roller coaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the first 2 rounds, I couldn't roll anything. Couldn't roll a save, couldn't roll to hit, couldn't roll a charge.
Yeah.
I think when I made all those 6-inch charges across the board and scoring maximum secondaries for like 3 rounds on the bounce.
Yes. I don't think you scored any secondaries in the first turn, but the next 4 turns in a row, you just hit them.
Yeah.
And you played Grey Knights as well, right? As well as Demons, which is nice. You've got Demons and Grey Knights. I like that.
Yeah.
So we've only been playing for a year. Do you want to shout out any of the boys?
Yeah, we've got in the WhatsApp group, we've got Ben, my brother-in-law, Ian, my best mate. We've got Patrick, Mitch, Alex, and Jack. Nice.
That's a nice group for 1 year in, you know.
Yeah. A couple of them work at Warhammer World, so it's handy to be able to know people.
Awesome. Warhammer World. Nice. Anyway, that was an awesome game. I really enjoyed myself. First time get to play Grey Knights against Demons, and I think I put on a show. I think I managed to hold them back for some time, but in the end, the Grey Knights just ran out of steam. Mind you, it could have gone either way. It was a glorious game. One more shout out again to marchofwar.co.uk for all this gorgeous scenery that you see on the battle grid. We do hope you enjoyed that battle report. Happy wargaming.